And then residency is just, that's just working constantly and not sleeping. And from what I understand, you would still do improv at midnight on Saturday nights while you were a
Yeah.
resident?
I mean, I had the best. My medical residency was my favorite time of my medical career, even though I was the busiest and working 90 to even 100 hours a week. The director of my residency was a really, really enlightened man who, to this day, still inspires me. He just was. He was my, in basketball terms, this is a basketball reference, but
Yeah.
he was kind of like my Phil Jackson. He just kind of looked at life a little bit left of center, a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit zen in some ways. And I like interviewed for residency maybe at 10 different hospitals around the country, and he was the only guy that saw my resume and said, "Oh, that's really cool. You do stand up." And
You included
you
it on your resume.
yeah, I included my resume,
Yeah.
and I also wanted to see how they responded. Some of them say, "Oh, that's cute," or some of them are like, "Well, whatever." But he was the first person to really embrace that, and the only person out of every place I interviewed. And he said something I'll never forget. It was like 20 years ago. He told me this. I know people will tell you you can be a better doctor because of your comedy background. I'll also make the observation that you can actually be a better comedian because of your medical background.
How?
I think just handling the stress of it all, like having the endurance to be on call for like, I don't know, like 24, 36 hours. Yeah, I mean, when I'm working on Community on a 17-hour day, it's a lot like being on call.
Huh.
So it's, having that, but really there is something to be said about having a stamina when you're doing very long film shoots, on anything. I've always operated under kind of the philosophy of, well, if I can handle med school and residency, I can handle this. I think it helps on maybe on a more of a psychological end, I suppose.
I was thinking about that because whether you're on stage doing stand up or on screen, your confidence as a performer is so clear. You're huge. Like you just fill up the space. And how much of that confidence do you think comes from, doctors have a reputation for having healthy egos and being confident?
Thank you. Okay, no, I agree. No, not a question, but a very accurate praise and observation. No, I think, I, you know, I, there is something to be said about kind of going through school and college and med school and surviving it and having that as a badge of honor, and also as a physician or being on call, there is a kind of that intensity and that strength and that intensity that I think that comes out. I think it's more of a visceral attitude that I've taken from my life. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a sense of that go for it attitude. Absolutely.
You moved out to California after your residency training, and you met your wife, Tran Ho, at the hospital while you were working together. What did you first notice about her?
I remember we'd pass by each other in the hospital occasionally when we were rounding. It was very pretty and just very together. She just seemed very together. And I remember we had a doctor's night out, like just young doctors, like I guess doctors in their late 20s, early 30s. We all got together for like a happy hour at a bar. And we both at the same time, we call ourselves the other couple of When Harry Met Sally. We're like the Carrie Fisher, Bruno Kirby couple. We had both broken up with our respective mates at that time, and I think we were both kind of committed, like we were both bonding over that. And
Yeah.
then it was almost in that scene where Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby, like they're not looking to hook up, like they're if anything they want to get out of there. But then they both realize, oh, they have so much in common, and that's kind of what happened to us. We both realized, oh my God, this is amazing, and she made me laugh, and she was really the first person I ever met that just made me laugh so hard. I mean, she's just so funny, and we were really bonded by our love of comedy. And you don't really meet a lot of people in medicine, much less date them who like that. I remember one night we went out to sushi, and it just ended up being a nice little date night. Except being the whore that I am, just went up and did stand up comedy. Hey, watch people, yeah, watch me yuck yuck. You know, I don't know. That's not a great date, but
And then as you're dating, you incorporate her into your act.
yeah, with her permission.
She's Vietnamese, doctor, last name Ho. I'm not fucking with you, huh? Dr. Ho. I'm a comic. This is pure joy. Get in the car, Ho. You know what I'm saying? Make me some rice, Ho. You know? You complete me, Ho. You know?
I mean, I ran every joke by her, and it just shows what thick skin she had. You know, she's like a comedian's dream for a wife or a girlfriend because she's just so secure in herself. She didn't. I mean, her last name's Ho, and I'm doing like the worst, hackiest Ho jokes. You know, and even when we got married, she was like, I knew I married an actor, a comedic actor at heart, not a doctor. And the whole while, like the pipe dream was to be an actor, not even to do stand up. I mean, I missed acting, I missed performing on that level.